like the eagle, so on and so forth.
Oh my god, there's a
Okay.
hamster. That's so cute. Wait, hold on. Let me. Wait,
You
hold
can
on.
also tame the ducks, Alec.
Quack quack.
You're capping right now.
No, I am not.
What does that
With
mean?
seeds.
What does that mean?
I'm gonna have so many
Capping?
ducks.
Capping. Yeah.
I'm gonna have so many ducks.
It means. Wait, how do I? Why do you guys sound like that? It means like
Sound like what?
lying, basically.
Why don't you just say lying? Why are there new
Because
words?
Capping sounds funnier.
Why? No, it doesn't.
Just
It's just a word. Technically,
I
all
like
words are just
capping.
words. Sorry.
I like capping more. Hello. Do you like your base?
I do. Hold on. I have to tweet and post my links.
Okay.
I don't like that actually. Hold on. Hold on. Minecraft. Minecraft. Rex, have I told you about how like whenever I type Minecraft too like fast, I type Minecraft?
I think you have. I've for some reason I've gone around saying that. And I'm like, what? Where did I get that from? And now I know. Minecraft.
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 Real
that's
so.
cool.
Okay. Now to, why do I have a stick? I just have one stick.
I don't know. Also, check the chest. Check the chest.
Which
Look,
one?
you said you wanted a bow, and you said you wanted a crossbow.
Yes.
The other one. The other one.
Okay. Ah! Yippee!
Yes.
Now, what is the difference between the crossbow and the bow?
So bow is you can shoot more consistently, whereas crossbow you can charge it up, save a shot, and then just like scroll and do other things, and then have that shot ready to go like a gun, and then just like that.
That's a crossbow?
Yes.
Which one do
And
you
the thing,
suggest?
huh?
Which one do you suggest for me then?
I would suggest using both. So I'm hoping we can get around to doing one of the trial chambers today, to get like the mace and tridents and shit. If that's cool with you.
Actually, sure. I don't know what that means.
Had a crossword.
Combat
No,
trial.
Let me turn my.
But I would specifically like you, since you're not super like you're not super deep into like up close combat in this game, to be like a ranger and stay on the sidelines while me and Alec go like PvP
Yes.
like classic brawl mode.
I can do it. I just need to be hyped up.
All good.
It scares me.
It also
we do need some. We do. Sorry, Rex. We do need some type of distance support. So I do think that's a good idea. If me see if that's okay with you.
Oh,
What?
Alec,
I have support. Yes, I can support.
behind you. Come here. This chest here. This is everything in this chest is all for you.
You're a G.
Oh wait, you need one more thing. Hold on, let me go get something.
You're a G, Rex.
Hold on, I need to get you your shulker shell.
An adult black hamster.
Yep. Use the
him.
seeds to tame it. You use the seeds to tame it.
Ready?
Wait, Rex, which one do you suggest for me then? I don't remember. The crossbow or the bow?
The bow is overall better.
Yeah, because there's flame.
What I would say you do is have that crossbow constantly charged in your back pocket, and if a mob or something gets a little too close to you, swap over to the bow or hit him with your bow shot, and then swap over to the crossbow, and then hit him with the crossbow with like a double whammy to finish him off. Because both of them are maxed out bows, so that'll probably.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh my god!
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hit you. I didn't mean to hit you. I was literally not.
What? That nearly killed me.
I'm sorry. I didn't know you were that close to me. I'm sorry. I was testing it.
Like you said, that's a god bow. I have 1.5 hearts right now.
That's
one shot.
I gotta take refuge in your place, Rex.
Huh?
I gotta take refuge in your place.
All good. All good.
Yippee.
Are you at my castle or my old house?
Old house, I think. How do you destroy
the wooden house?
Say it again?
The wooden house?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm coming to you. I'll get you your shulker shell.
Thank you.
If you want, dye, go to the flower forest where Macy is.
How do I put the hamster inside the cage? Can I keep this?
Hold on, actually.
Stop.
You need a net. Give me a second.
Thank you. I need to keep this dude safe while we go out and battle.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Okay, we got him.
Oh my god, I got jumped. Hold on, give me a second.
Well, just don't.
They're
Yeah,
cheats.
I'll try not to. Yeah. So I'll give you a net, and what it basically allows you to do is if the hamster is loose, you can like capture it and put it back in your pocket.
Pocket hamster.
But I also need string. I should have gotten that while
I have
was
string.
out.
I have like 4, 5, 6, 7 string.
Okay, cool. Thank
If
you.
need. Yes. I'm gonna save bones just in case we see puppies.
Also, Alec, did you know there's a way to? Oh, yours is on a wheel. I've never.
Yeah, I just
put
did
mine
that.
on a wheel. That's awesome. Nice. You have the string.
Yeah, it's in here. It's in this one.
Okay, thank you.
Yippers.
Thank you. I think.
Oh wait, you said can the fish go in the cookers or do I need coal? I need coal. Fuck. Or something.
I'll go that way.
Coming with the net.
Okay, thank
And
you.
the thing is, you can also catch other things with this too. You can catch butterflies. You can catch beetles. I'm pretty sure you can catch frogs with them. You can catch, of course, the hamsters. Where are you?
Above.
What is
I'll
a-
worry about
What is a
I'll
blast
worry about
furnace?
that
Sorry.
thing later. You're good. Sorry, bro. My bad.
What's a blast furnace?
It's like, so it basically smelts ores quicker. I don't really use them because I have an iron farm. If any of you need my iron farm, do you see that little like? There's like a little glass dome in the earth. That is the iron farm. It's on my personal island where all the like castle looking stuff is. Is there any color you'd like your shulker shell to be, Alec?
Do you have any black dye ink sacks?
Are they not all purple?
I do not.
I'm confused.
I
But
can go kill some.
okay.
Oh,
Also-
beaver. Fucking goose.
Yeah, that's my pet beaver.
Goose? Quack quack.
Also, you could use the black dye on your hamster. Does
Why?
it not have a bow on it?
A bow?
Because you can.
What?
Yeah, you.
Why is
you
my
can tame
hamster
the
out?
You can tame the hamster with seeds.
Why is my hamster out and not on the wheel?
Oh, I forgot to. I need to get you some seeds so you can tame your hamster
How do I tame him?
with seeds.
Well, what does he do when he's tamed?
He acts like a dog. You can make him sit down, or he'll follow you. Or you can, with the net, you can pick him up.
But I already picked him up.
Yeah, but you can place him down. You can tame him. I'll get you your seeds. Hold on, give me some.
Okay, I tame him.
Okay.
Okay. When do we think we want to go take on the trial chamber?
Oh,
Do we
I'm
want to
ready.
do that?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I found
Let
a
me.
duck
I want
egg.
to tame my hamster first, and then we do
Yeah.
it.
Okay. I'll get you your seeds.
Is
If this
hamster
is not
dead?
enough, I will get you more. Also, Macy.
Yeah.
What you could do is, because of the bees and because of the wax they produce, and because the flowers, you could make
That wasn't
candles and
enough.
stuff.
Sorry, what?
You can make candles and stuff with the wax and the flowers.
But then I can't smell them. That's why I bring candles.
That's too bad. Where'd
Boo.
seeds? Where would seeds be? They'd be in here.
You're a villager.
Third time today. These two fucking guys.
Where do you have food?
A zombie dad and his kid.
Where do you have
Third
food, Rex?
time today.
Alec, I have extra bread. Rex gave me if you want to come over here.
Yes.
I
Rex, do you by
can eat.
chance have like stacks of like efficient food, like
New band name.
meat, potatoes?
No.
Efficient food,
I'm
new
not
band name.
there.
Okay.
I'm not there yet. I've mainly been focusing on building and like doing everything I can to get like OP, not like I haven't really considered food yet, I guess. I should do that next.
Alec, I have 51 potatoes, and I can take the bread if you want. my potatoes.
If you wouldn't mind giving the potatoes, I could start a potato
Oh,
farm.
they're baked potatoes though.
Oh.
I think there's potatoes back here though in my little farm. I think.
Guys,
What?
What?
I found a brown hamster. Does anybody want a brown hamster?
I'm
Sure.
okay.
Okay, these
Okay.
are not ready. These potatoes are not
Well, I
ready.
have 41 seeds for you, so
For who?
for you, Macy, so you can tame the hamster
Oh,
inside.
yes, I see.
Also, pretty soon I'll be killing the we can kill the wither together if you'd like.
Why is he not? Do the? It's not doing it. He's not doing it.
You may have to net him again, and then
Damn.
yeah, look at him. He's okay.
Oh,
and
wrong
then
button.
place-
Where is he? I gotta move shit around in my inventory.
Okay. Hey, Rex or Macy, do either of you have just any normal potatoes, like even one?
Nope.
Yes.
Oh, he's in love now. Fuck.
Give me a second.
I didn't
I'm in
realize.
love. Please give me.
I meant the hamster, but yeah.
Oh shoot.
Oh wait, I have seeds. I did not realize that these were seeds.
I think it's here. I think.
I don't.
Here.
House is
And
really
we're-
pretty. I agree. Rex
Yeah,
did it. My
yeah,
brother.
yeah.
Did, one of my brothers did it because they're both my brothers.
What?
Twitch chat said house is really pretty. Yes, Rex did it.
Thank you.
We're
If you want to do
working on
a
it.
tour of the rest of the place,
Oh,
to the
yeah!
chat, you can.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Oh, hold on. Let's go. Okay.
Just really let
After
him
you're done
stroke
after?
my ego.
Yeah.
And
Dude, it's
when
sick.
you said-
What?
Rex, you said there was.
Here's your potatoes. I'll drop them in the.
I need some iron to make some hose. Thank you, Rex.
Here. Wait. Do you know how to use the elytra?
Hamster.
Yes.
He followed.
Yes, I do.
Okay. You got the rockets on you. Oh, your wings look sick.
Okay, there's carrots over here that are done.
You have golden wings.
You have gold
Ew.
wings too.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, you do.
I do.
Where are you
Okay,
guys?
cool. Yeah. You
I
got
have a
your
mini map.
rockets on you, right? All right. Follow me.
Where are you? Oh, what the fuck? Okay, bye.
Okay, maybe I don't know how to use the electric. There we go. No, I'm good. Where'd you go?
What?
Look, I see it.
Right
I see
here.
it.
I'm right below you.
I'm so
Right.
confused.
We go right here. Also,
Oh.
what do you think of the castle? What do you think of the main castle there?
I lost
Wait,
you
where's
again.
What?
Okay, and I'm back in
Come
the
on.
ear. Trying to find you.
I'm behind
Oh
you. I'm behind you. I'm behind you. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I don't know what you guys are doing. Fey Garden, love that. Oh, I need a fence to keep my horsey.
Okay. You can chop down one of the cherry trees and replant it.
Oh no, it's fine. But I can do it to the table, outside
there.
table right there.
Thank you, Rex.
I can set up electric courses on the thing for you guys to get better at it.
Yeah, I kind of need that. I need practice because I don't know what the fuck I'm
Okay.
doing. Wait, what? I've got
Yeah,
brown hamster in my inventory.
Yeah, you can tame that bad boy. You wanted it. You asked for it.
Okay, what do they do? Do they attack anything like dogs?
What do hamsters do in real life?
Nothing.
Die.
They die. Yeah, they're suicidal.
Yeah.
They die. I'm gonna put them in my.
My inventory is way too full.
We need a
Alright,
big
do you want a
inventory.
dye for the bow? Do you want pink
What?
for the bow tie on your hamster?
Oh, I thought you meant for my bow. I thought. Oh, well, yeah, sure. I have pink actually. I have pink. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Come back. There we go.
Fuck.
Okay.
Now
How
it
do
really
I-
is a hamster. Pink.
Yippee! Oh, it's like kind of like dark pink or purple, whatever. It looks nice. I want puppies now. What are they doing? Oh,
Where
putting
is? I think I
torches
put my
away.
backpack block.
What?
There's a gray shulker box somewhere.
I have a purple one because you gave me purple.
Yeah. Okay.
What are these things? Are these? What are these?
Explain them. Explain.
Campfire underneath a thingy thing, a box.
Those are beehives.
Why are they on fire?
Those are so I can use a shear to collect the honey. So if I don't have the campfire, they'll sting me, and if they sting me, they'll die. I want
I
to be
don't
able to
like
collect
that. They
the
die
honey.
anyway. They're bees.
Well, no, but they'll attack me, and thus they will die.
Oh, why?
Because
I don't understand.
they break the stinger. I can't explain it, but they break the stinger, and it basically kills them. It doesn't always kill them, but it's almost guaranteed to kill them.
It breaks their abdominals open. Maybe.
Yes, that's also why you'll see bees when sometimes if like a single wasp invades their hive, instead of using like a bunch of them getting up on it, they'll.
Are you talking about real life?
Well, yes.
Oh, I don't know about anything. I
Well,
don't
instead
know.
of a single bee dying to
Horsey.
kill it, they're all getting up on it by just surrounding it and overheating it to where it overheats and dies.
Okay. I
Yeah.
believe you. I trust you.
Insane technique.
Do you mind if I make the farm over here?
There's a moose. Or deer.
Here.
What is
Well,
elk?
I mean,
I don't know what
there's a
that
piece
is.
of glass. Okay.
Where would you prefer I make the farm? I'll make a decent.
Let me. Actually, no. This is rural. This is rural sector. You do what you want.
Do what you want.
Yeah.
Do what you want. What you want. What you want.
I need to find my gray one.
Where are you guys? I need a mini map. I'm like lost.
We're
Okay, I see. I see your name. I see your name. Pickies.
yeah, we're here. I need to. Yeah, I need to start. I need to put up signs to like section off the section off the sections so that like
That would be nice. Yeah.
or like have names to the sections and then have signs so I can just say like I'm in like rural section. I mean
Number
this
one.
sector-
Number two. What is this?
What about our
This
fort?
is rural sector.
Oh, it's a kitty. There's a kitty.
Why not
Maybe
use
like
our
rural sector Maine or rural sector whatever.
58.
Also, okay, so right here I'm planning on having a horse farm for like all my horses and stuff.
Okay. What is this then? Oh, it's for cows and sheep. Okay.
Cows and sheep, yep.
Cows and
And
sheep.
then down that right there is the pigs, and then over on the left is the chickens.
We're chickens?
They're like all the way over there.
I go see chickens.
Yes.
Chicken.
There's an
nuggets.
iron golem in with them.
Oh, good for them.
Okay, I'm gonna kill
Protector.
myself now. Because
Okay,
I'm all
go
one
off.
heart and I'm just struggling.
Real?
I think you should talk to a therapist before that.
Oh, definitely.
Okay,
How'd
okay,
you do
there are the
that?
cows, there are the chickens. Okay, I'm gonna kill myself now.
Why would you do that
I've
whenever there's
done
so
what I
many
need to do.
beautiful wildlife?
I've explained enough, I'm done.
Real.
Goodbye.
Hi, horsey. He's breakdancing.
Yep, they do that.
Huh.
I don't know what to name my horse. I want to name one after the horse I had in my Breath of the Wild run, Perseus. But they don't have green horses, so I don't know what color he should be.
Why is your horse green? I don't think that's
In,
normal.
in Breath of the Wild, it's like a Viridian color.
Oh, why is he green? I would help you, Alec, but I don't have hoe.
I can give you Ho. Here, Ho.
Wow, that was rude of you, but okay, thank you.
I meant like
I know, I was kidding.
Here's
Rex
how-
has a hose.
Good for
Rex has a
him.
hose.
Okay, where do you where?
Just around the water.
Are you
know,
done with the water?
While you guys do that, I'll decorate it.
I just need at least walls around so no mobs can get in here and trample our stuff.
For sure.
Okay. How far are we going?
Just around. You see these things of water, like these little blocks of water.
Yeah, like how
I'm
many?
just-
Oh, I didn't see the one behind me. Oops.
Abstract, your choice.
Abstract. Okay, but like how many blocks
Really,
can
a
the water?
multiple choice answer.
Take a guess.
50.
I don't know either.
So it's for one block of water that fills a 4x4 like thing. So that fills 4 blocks in each direction of the water. So like,
But not all 8? How do you... I'm confused. We need lily
Oh,
pads
like-
too, so we don't fall into the water.
yeah. So hold on, let me.
Lily pads.
I would use stairs.
Stairs
So,
in the
like-
water?
Yep, stairs. They actually work. It keeps the water source blocked there, but
Or you could do
What are
trap
you
doors or
talking about? What are you
fences.
talking about stairs?
So
let me show you.
Wait, Alex, do you need potatoes? Like, not boiled potatoes. Oh my god. Baked potatoes.
If they're no, thank you. I do
Okay,
not.
I think you need food.
No, I killed some
No.
animals.
No. There's pumpkins. I see pumpkin.
Thank you
Also,
for the
if you like need like meat, feel free to like collect some of the wheat there and then
Weed?
make some of the cows. The
My
wheat.
good Minecraft server. Good Christian
Yeah.
Minecraft server.
Okay, I've collected the good wood.
Oh,
I-
I see.
You want to repeat that again?
Sorry.
Yeah, the good wood.
Okay.
Okay.
Go off, I guess.
Off.
Huh. Oh, why do the stairs do that? I don't like that, but I kind of like it, but I kind of don't. Why does it do that?
Depending on what type of wood. I mean, we can use. I don't know.
Are these all potatoes?
Yep.
Okay. So I will not.
Do you want this to be the max size of your thing?
No, I'd like to make it bigger. This is all the potatoes I have right now.
Okay.
I'm just here. I'm just driving. Mr. Man.
I can give you the diamonds for a diamond hoe if you like.
Nah, it's okay. Well, I mean, if you want, but
Oh,
I can't do it
wow.
so that we have a good source of food. But I'm ready to go down to trial chambers whenever. I
Oh,
want to
yeah.
fight.
Do we
I
have
want to kill.
Yeah, let's
bones?
go do that. I say we go do that now.
Okay, let me go to
Okay.
my house and switch things
I'm
out.
also I'm gonna make a quick chest here for you.
I just made one already. Thank you, though.
Wait, where is the place that we're going? Is it far?
No, it's literally right where you spawned. You almost fell in it.
Oh shit. Okay.
It's like a pit. I was like, oh my god,
Open the
Holy,
fucking
be
pit.
careful. You almost went like
That's
full like
hard.
cartoon.
I don't remember that. Not gonna lie.
It was right as you spawned, and I didn't say anything because I was like, okay,
I don't remember
we'll get to that eventually. I'm also gonna dump some of my stuff really quickly.
No, me too.
It won't take
That's what I'm
very
doing right now. Do I need anything else? Bones in case we see puppies. I need to make more dye. This one.
I need to. Where is it?
Not purple. Wait, is there purple in this game or is it just magenta?
There's purple.
I thought so. Where is it?
I'm not sure.
What the hell? You're supposed to be like the genius of
You
this
should
game.
be able to find purple flowers.
Purple. I see. There's magenta. There's like purple. It looks like purple, but like they're magenta.
You should be able to find purple.
I don't know.
Let me think.
Oh, let me check the equipment or the whatever. I can't. No, there's
The
only
dot.
magenta. It's just magenta. Oh, it's dark. It's okay. I got pink. Pink works. Oh wait, what the hell? There's lilac? Why do I get? I'm so confused.
I did not mean to do that. These bad boys.
I'm so confused.
Did you see the this?
Yeah, the what? Yeah, I did. That's magenta.
Okay.
It gives me magenta.
Oh. What gives?
I
Yeah, I swear there's a purple. Oh, it's you have to mix blue and red.
but there's no. It doesn't say purple in the nature thing. Like right here with the.
We gotta try it.
I'm confused. You try. You try it. Yeah. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
All good. All good, G.
Pee. Okay, I just want them for my puppies. Whenever I get puppies, this chest is a fucking mess right now.
Purple, and you get 2. There you go. That here.
Thank yous.
Yeah, we should get dogs soon. Oh, you know what I
puppies.
I should start setting up soon. I had an idea for this. Called I wanted like an acronym for it, like Tactical Iron Golem or something. Where
Sure.
like also it's over here. There.
Can I have a bridge here? You know, like that little area right there.
Over that little like ravine there.
Yeah.
Are you bringing your hamster to a war zone?
Oh fuck! I am. You're right. I have to hold on. I have to leave him.
Yeah, I was like, are you sure about that one, bro?
I forgot. My bad.
We can go explore. I'm not too sure how to activate the chamber, but we can explore. We can figure it out.
Hamster, where are you? Come here.
Is it here?
Come here. The fuck?
It's somewhere here.
Where is he?
Where is
Wait,
it?
do I need to use the net again? Oh my god.
It's somewhere in here. Hold on. I don't think I found it yet. I
You
know it's
liar.
here though.
Where's my hamster? Oh, there he is. Come on, hamster.
Hold on. Yeah, it's here. I found it. Here.
Imprisoned for his
Sorry,
crimes.
We went past it. Sorry.
Sorry,
I
what?
should have put a thing here. Yeah. Okay, this is the chamber. We found it.
I'm coming. How far
We
are
have
you?
to send it into the chamber.
You know what? I'm just gonna TP. TP.
I don't have arrows. You'll have to cover me on arrows.
Okay, hold on. Don't come in yet. I'm TPing. Okay.
We're good.
What the fuck? What do you have so many numbers? 1, 2, 6. No. You have so many numbers. Oh, can I not teleport? I guess not, because it says like, it's a game director's
It's
command.
not that far. Hold on.
Where are you?
Oh, hold on. I'll come back up after you.
Okay.
I also need to get arrows really quickly, so you can make
I
your way
have-
down, and then I'll super quickly go get arrows, and then
Do you have
Yeah.
arrows like in your house?
no, but I can like rocket to where they are super quickly and get them.
Okay.
Do you not have
I have arrows, but like I don't know if I have enough. Like I have 64, then 36. I don't know how much I need. That's the thing. I don't know how much I need. Do you want?
I can get you more arrows.
I mean, I don't need them right
I think
now, but
Okay. For this battle, it'll be enough.
yippee!
Yeah.
Hey, Rex, can you get torches while you're up there? We need some type of way to track where we've already been.
So true.
Yeah.
Wait, do you guys put them on the left side or the right side?
I put them right down the middle.
Yeah, but then how do you know which way is which? You know, like
I don't.
that's exactly. You put like I put them on the left side, so like I know, like which way I was coming from and which way I'm going. You know.
You said you put them on the left?
Yeah, on the left side, like the blocks or the whatever. I learned that from a Minecraft YouTuber, but I forgot who it was. It was like an old one.
Okay.
Meow.
I still have no food. Where the fuck is my? Where's my great shoulders?
He's still breakdancing. Good for him.
It has my meat. It has everything.
Wait, where are you? Can I TP yet?
Oh wait, have you not found the? Over here.
Wait.
Right.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see. I'm here.
Hey. Do you not have your diamond armor?
No, I want to use the iron first. Should I get my diamond armor?
Yes.
Rex has plenty of diamond.
Why are you?
Okay, I didn't know that.
Your diamond gear has mending. Yeah.
You gotta teach me how to do that. How to do the elytra thing. Cause you just zoomed.
It's not
Yeah.
hard.
It's so it looks
We could-
scary, and with that diamond gear, you should be completely fine. Especially with like max health, because you'll just heal through everything.
Say. Love
Yeah.
healing.
I need.
Do I need my diamond
food.
sword? Yes, I do. I'll bring it.
Oh yes, for sure.
Yippee.
Bring the best equipment you have.
That's yeah. Let me put away my iron sword then.
I experienced kinetic energy. Yet again.
You got sauced on.
What does that mean?
Yep, I
The
got
fuck? Why'd you die?
That's sauced on.
I flew too fast into the cow pen.
Into the sun.
That's
real.
the best
Got
stuff.
sauced
There's
on
carrots
by-
over here, Rex.
Huh?
There's carrots over here that are fully grown.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm burning the cows alive.
Oh, wait, don't
What?
kill all of them. I'll, wait, Rex.
What?
It's fine. They're not all
I'll
dead.
give you some hay that I gathered that you can breed them so that there's more cows.
Yes. They're not all dead. It's okay.
Why are you
I'm
killing
sorry,
them?
Mason.
I need steak. I was about to die.
Rex, here's potatoes. Or, here's carrots.
Potatoes. Who's texting me? Stop
For
it.
the pigs, I need wheat.
You need wheat? I got the wheat right here.
Thank you. Just give me like a little bit. I just need to breed a couple because I killed a lot of them, unfortunately.
Just breed all of them.
Yeah.
Breed all of them. Then extra cows. There are so many sheep.
So make babies, make babies.
I'm sorry, little one. You do not deserve
Tiny.
punishment. You do not deserve the death.
Yippee!
Alright.
There's enough sheep, I think, Alec.
There can be one.
Okay, I'm gonna go get the coal for the torches.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah,
Duck
I need the
or goose. Fuck. Whatever the fuck this is. Wah.
Wah.
Wah. Threw egg. What is that? What is that? Oh, there's kitties. Hello, kitties. Oh, we need name tags.
Yeah. I hate that it's so hard to get name tags.
That's why we cheat. Because this is literally just Minecraft. This is your world. This is your world.
just go down and find them somewhere.
Yeah, but that's
Good.
boring.
I can spawn a couple in for you if you'd like.
Yippee. Whenever we get puppies, yes.
Yeah.
What is... What? I can just spawn things?
Yeah, hold on, I'm in creative mode. I wanted to get you your name tags.
You can
Wait,
do
why am I in creative mode? I'm confused.
commands.
Yeah, give me a second.
I'm in
You
creative
have
mode
to,
too.
yeah, don't you?
I don't know why that is. Oh, it's because I changed the game mode, not my
Yeah.
personal game
Oh, right.
mode. Name.
Hi.
Yeah, okay. And then there. Effective survival.
Damn.
Okay.
No more flying.
I'm
You
so
good?
I'm good.
What are you doing?
I'm okay.
Okay. If you say
Hey.
so.
Also, Actually, I'll keep the name tags in this chest right here. This is also where my other stuff is, so don't take this, but you can take the name tags.
Where even are the names?
Also, if you
Oh, I see. Okay.
if you need to use a thingy,
Thingy?
the anvil, go to the building that looks like a furnace, a giant furnace.
Over
Also,
there? Okay, I see. I see.
yeah, do you have your elytra on you?
Nope.
Okay, that's okay.
It's fine. We don't need it right now.
We're going over here. Are we ready for the trial chamber? I have the stuff for it.
I think
I have
so.
the torches.
The
Okay.
trout chamber?
The trial.
Oh, I thought you said trout.
The
But-
trial
They're
There's
snails!
There's a band
Oh,
name
fuck.
right there.
What the
The
hell?
trout
What can I go up?
chamber.
Alright.
What can what? Hello?
You have some type of.
What do I do? Okay,
Oh,
there we go. I couldn't go up.
I forgot you have Frostwalker. You can walk, like, you can turn the water to ice.
That makes sense
Alright.
why I couldn't go up.
Okay, no,
Yeah.
so, like, stand here, like, yeah, like that.
That's so cool. What the what's
Yeah, we
this?
need a little bit more food before we go down.
Okay,
I just
I
have
have,
16 pieces of beef.
I have here. Have
Thank you.
potato.
Thank you.
Potato.
Thank you.
Yippers.
All right, let's go, y'all.
I think the pit's over here. Where's the pit?
No, it's
Open
over here,
up the
Rex.
fucking pit.
Yeah.
Where?
You got it. You're right.
Oh, it's so close. Oh my god. It's,
And yeah, it's right here.
I don't. Ah! Oh shit. Oh my god, that was scary.
Don't fall all the way. I thought I was just gonna see you zoom past me. Okay.
All right, right here.
Yeah. Hello.
I'm coming very slowly. I don't want to go. I don't want to fall. I'm scared.
You get. Oh shit! Did we get torches?
I got the stuff for torches. I'll make them really quickly.
Hello,
You're a
lava. God, it's so far down.
Sorry, I gotta make a bunch.
You good, bro? You good, bro? G, big Holly.
Brogy?
You went
Oh,
down a
sorry.
little too far. Go up a little
What?
bit.
Where?
Back to the left. See where I'm at?
Ah! Fuck. I fell. I don't see. Oh, I see you. I think.
Yeah. Wait, what I hit? I hit something.
No, I hit the floor.
Oh.
Also, make sure to tap/right click the
Tap slash.
the jars and stuff. They can be hiding stuff within them.
What jars?
Yeah.
There'll be like
Hey.
pots, the clay terracotta.
Real
pots.
quick, before you go over there, there is a chest over here. There's 2 chests up here. I just saw.
What is this place? Did you build this?
No,
No,
this is a
naturally
combat
created.
chamber. This is new.
I don't like this. It scares me. Hold on.
Honeycomb, bunch of honeycomb.
Sticks, nothing but sticks, but I'll take them.
Yeah,
So confused.
we're really looking for a key. If you find a key that has a skull on it, that is what we are here for.
A key?
Because the real rewards we will reap are from combat.
Okay, so whenever. Oh wait, no, never mind.
What's up?
I was gonna say whenever you open a chest and like look through it, put a torch over it, but like I don't know. You could also
Yeah,
just
that
look through the chest.
All right, it's been explored over here. It looks like, unless there's any fake,
Whee! What is over there?
what's it called? You know,
Cobweb.
Let me get there.
Oh, hold on. Let me see. Oh, I was
I got
trying to
you.
do that.
here.
Oh, I can't do that.
Empty, completely empty.
Parkour.
It's been explored over here. All right.
What? There's a
Go back.
spawn. There's a spawner.
Yep.
That's fine.
That
I'm
needs to be
scared.
activated with the key.
I'm scared.
It's okay.
You said right click or left click on the pots?
Like the interact button, not the break button. Oh wait, no, the break button. What the hell? Yeah, the break button.
Oh
Okay, I
shit!
thought it was the interact button.
What?
Yo,
Is that a sheep?
Yeah, and we can just store them in these barrels.
There's candles. How do I light them on
Yeah.
fire?
And
You'd need a lighter.
Oh, like a lint?
Flint and steel.
Yes, lint. I said. Oh yes, I
litter.
got a pot and some dead bush.
what's this? What's this? Door to?
Oh, I found a door here. There's a door.
I got
Yeah, go ahead.
arrow.
Weird.
What? Are we picking the small pots or the big pots?
That's not big pots. Sorry, I was sure.
Big pots.
I already broke that pot. Why is it
I think
warm?
this door over here leads to something.
I'm coming.
Oh yeah,
I'm coming.
it's like it's going downwards.
I'm
Whoa.
scared.
Oh yeah, big chest. Poison arrows and honey bottle. Okay, that seemed a lot more important than it is.
Is that
How
oh,
are
the
you
radiator's on? That's what it is.
I'm not with you guys over here. I found wind charge.
Who?
And-
Oh, Oh yeah, save those for the mace. You can use them to launch up. Those are very valuable. You want to save those
Poison
back.
arrows.
There's so many new things.
Oh, there's a water level
What?
over here.
I'm scared.
It's okay. It's okay. I got you.
Jeffrey, I'm afraid.
It's okay.
We good. We
You
good.
know
We
what? You
ball.
know what?
We
Yeah,
ball.
let's just.
Okay. Okay. If you
We're
can
good.
cover me, that would be nice. If not, it's
Guys,
okay.
get up there.
Ah, fuck!
How'd you
No,
guys get up there?
I got it. I got it.
Okay,
I got it. I got it. I got it. Wait, why
No,
can't I break it? Why
don't
can't I
mind,
break it?
Don't mind, don't mind.
Why can't I break
Okay.
it?
No, don't mind it. We do not want to break it. We can get
Here.
rewards from it.
There we go.
We
Okay,
can
okay. I see. I see. I see.
Around it. There we go.
There are pots. Who's stop it? Why are there so many pots here?
Because they have rewards inside them.
What do we do with the pots after?
We can. I found the key. I found the key. I found the
Already?
key. We can just decorate with them. I found the key.
Sorry,
I
I
have
took
it, I have
that,
it.
Alec. I
Here
think.
already?
Already?
Yeah, I have
I hear. Sorry.
Boy.
Where the fuck is the zombie? I hear him.
Okay. Where do we take it? I
Oh,
know
it's right here.
that
I have it. I have it. There's key.
You have a key too.
Yeah, I have 3. Here.
Nice.
It was like right here on top.
Okay.
Where is the
I-
man?
It's finding
They
this
go-
key.
What's down there? There's something down there. Oh, it's.
I think it
string.
goes to. Wait. Oh, okay. Wait. We need to lock in here. We need to lock in here.
Why?
It could go to this, so I'm gonna try this.
What do we do whenever it? What happens? What happens?
Fight. We fight.
Oh fuck. Okay.
kill.
Okay.
I don't.
Can we turn on friendly fire?
It's not this.
Wait, I need to put that.
No.
I want to turn on
But,
friendly fire. I don't like it.
Basically, I would recommend being more like more of a ranger and like
Okay.
sniping and stuff.
I got you. Well, let me be over here. Let me put.
Alright, so what did you say to use the wind part of it?
We want to save those for when we have the mace because we can use them to. You can basically use them to launch stuff or like launch yourself up into the air. I don't.
Alright.
So that there isn't the chain. Isn't the like thing that the keys go to. I don't think we're looking for something else
Oh, how do you know that? What's up here?
because I couldn't unlock it. These keys didn't work on it.
What's up there? I'm scared.
I'm not sure.
Let's see. Wow.
Yeah.
Hello. What's up here?
I found it.
Yippee!
I found what we're looking for.
Alright, coming to
Why
you.
is there a chain?
Hold on. I'm making blocks so I can build over.
Look at that over there.
Yeah.
I jumped too soon.
Cool, I'm making a bridge. Yes,
Okay.
that thing. We bridge. Hold
Okay,
on.
we bridge.
We ball.
We bridge.
Okay. I'm gonna try to make the bridge wider. I don't know if they're gonna spawn out of this or what. Also, notice how it's already lit.
Yeah,
Alright,
I
wait.
lit it more though. There we go.
Yes, thank you. All
I'll
right.
take this torch back.
Are we ready, fellas?
No,
Yes,
I want more
when we do it-
space.
When we do it, let's go down. Let's go
I
down the
think there's
ladder.
gonna be more down there. What's up, Al?
Let's go down the ladders when we do it. As soon as we start it, let's go down the ladders so we don't
Yeah,
fall
yeah.
off this and die.
Where should I be?
I'm gonna count us down.
Down here.
Where should I be?
Macy.
Oh.
Look behind you.
What?
We'll go down the ladders
We
as
go
soon as we
down the
start.
ladder. We go down
Okay,
the
but
ladder.
where should I be? Like you said, ranged. I'm confused.
Okay.
I would say
Okay.
more. Just far away from wherever the monsters are coming
I'll just
from.
read the room. Like I usually can't, but I'll try.
Yes.
You'll be
Okay.
able to do it.
I got it. I got this.
I'm gonna count us down. 3, 2.
I'm scared.
Going down.
Is it working? Is it working?
Um.
I'm scared. There's nothing happening. Hello? Why is he? Who died? Oh.
No one.
It's not working for some
How
reason.
many do you need?
I don't know if this is the right key for this or something.
Hello?
I think we may need. Do you have any other? Is there like any bigger keys? Any keys you see that are bigger than this?
I haven't.
And any of,
Keys.
I haven't. I gave you the key that I had.
you want to try on it?
No, I'm scared.
Maybe.
I can try.
Okay, here.
I'm scared. Let me eat something. Actually, let me eat bread. Bread.
I hear a little noise and it's not taking my key.
Yeah.
Maybe you need more keys? Oh, it's not taking
I
your
think
key.
it-
Okay.
I think there's a bigger key we're looking for. That is not.
Then what
that
the fuck
key.
is that key for?
I think it's for smaller ones.
Where are the smaller ones?
Oh, I found another one.
Yippee!
Key or small what?
Same one. Oh, I can. If you look inside them, you can also see different rewards.
Oh shit.
Rewards are where are you?
Are you okay?
maybe found. Yeah, I'm good, but I may have found another one of those things where.
Hold on,
Oh,
come here.
That's a spawner.
What is
That's a
that?
spawner.
What is that?
Yeah,
Watch
yeah, we
out.
gotta line it up.
What is
Those
it?
are bugs. Those are bugs. They'll poison you. They'll
I'm
poison you.
scared.
Don't get... It's okay. It's okay.
Okay,
I got
I shoot.
poisoned.
Ah, fuck! I fell. Fuck! I'm scared. Ah!
It's okay. It's okay.
No, I fell. I'm down here. I'm poisoned.
Okay, hold on. Coming to you.
No,
It's all lit up.
TP me. I can't. What the fuck is in this fucking ground? I can't get up here.
Oh,
Okay, he's dead.
Hold on.
I'm in the ground.
I think we found the main room.
I'm in the ground. How do I get up?
Come Coming to you.
Why am I frozen?
Okay, this is the new, like, powdered snow.
I can't get up. What am I supposed to do?
Hold on.
I'm confused. I'm freezing to death. Fuck. Fuck off. Leave me alone. Thank you.
I got you. Hold on.
Ah! I'm coming. I'm trying. Yippee!
you.
Thank you.
Okay. We gotta fight. I'm close to death.
I got move.
I'll support you from the top.
Okay.
Where they at? I'm supporting
Fuck
from the top.
off.
Watch out.
I'm one heart. He's on me.
Dead.
Where are?
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Alright, we're good. I found another one down here, too.
Let me eat.
Okay.
Wait, why are there dart things? What's this? Like arrow things. Oh, there's something right. What is this? There's so many new things in this game. What?
Yeah.
I'm scared.
What was that?
It's okay.
Can we
What
get
was
rid
that?
of all the
Okay, I found
snow?
another one here.
Can we get rid of all the snow first? Because I don't want to get into it. It scares me.
Yeah. Hold on.
Oh, I got poison
There's
darts!
water up here. What does that help
Hey,
with?
use those for your arrows.
Yippee! Poison arrows. I don't know where they came
Oh,
from.
the water makes them stop spawning, right?
Yes,
Alright.
yeah, the snow. It's for the snow.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. I don't know where the main...
Snowball!
I also don't know what the key is we're looking for.
Me neither. Maybe we should look it up.
I know you can redo this. I know if you have the key, you can, like, re-fight.
Fire charge. I got fire charge. There's like just random shit in the dispensaries, whatever.
Yeah, those are, like, gonna shoot out at you.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm stealing all
Hey.
of that. They're mine
Okay.
now.
Well, I found something over here. I don't know what this is.
Water bucket.
Your backup thing? Oh yeah, the water bucket. The
I got
water
water
Okay,
bucket.
I found stairs back up. Okay.
I'm coming.
Oh,
I'm
no.
coming very slowly.
Empty chest.
Nothing else over there, huh?
Yeah, no,
Huh.
Where's the key?
Mm.
What if there's a key here?
Let me just
What if there's simply no key?
I don't know. I might need to do some quick... Oh my god, I fell. And I might need to do a quick, like, look up on, like, how to do that.
Do
Give me a
it.
second.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so water's kind of annoying.
How to...
I'm gonna eat a chicken.
How to eat a chicken.
I'm eating chicken.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Track down...
Wait, what is this up here? What is that? Up there. Do you see up there? Up.
What?
You mean? Oh, I don't know. I think it's.
I don't have blocks. Hold on.
I got you. This is it. Wait, is this it?
No, it looks like a spawner. Oh fuck! I didn't mean to do that. Sorry.
Alright, Alec,
What?
It looks like a
I'm gonna try the key on it.
Okay.
I'm gonna put that there.
Nothing.
We go. Now we can
God damn
see.
it.
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Oh,
Okay. This is another staircase up. There's another staircase up over here. Or, no, not up. Where?
Okay.
These are just
didn't we
staircases.
just come? Oh wait, what the hell? What's up here?
No, that's one. Nothing else there.
Okay.
All right, let's go back up the. Oh, yeah, the thing is here. You guys already saw that, didn't you?
Let's
You
go
tried
back
the
up from
key.
water.
Right. You tried the key here, right? Over here.
Yeah, I did. I don't...
Okay, let's go back up the water and let's go find another place and see what we can do.
Go up.
Well,
Thank
I've got
you.
4 keys. Let me try one of the keys on this. So before we go up, all right, you stay up there, mate. In case.
Oh fuck. Nope. Stop. I'm trying to steal your things.
I'm back. Hold on.
Bucket. My bucket's now.
Let me
Yeah,
see.
nothing happened there.
Parkour. Yippee.
Okay.
Nothing in that chest. I'm stealing everything from the dispensers. They're mine now.
Doing a lot of weed.
Ooh,
Alright,
bug.
going up the waterfall.
Let's go to another room and see what we can
Why are there
do.
eggs?
Why
I'm
not?
not sure. Probably
Oh,
just
fuck.
shooting.
I'm so silly.
You're good.
I just fell. It's fine. Why can't I TP? I want to TP. It's easier. What the fuck is that?
Lightning.
Why?
Oh, what's this, Rex? Come here.
It's actually thunder. Oh, I got a key.
These are Rex. And there's like one of those things. It's not like a normal spawner.
Oh yeah, that's different.
Behind you.
I'm coming. Where are you guys?
Bro, the way you came in, I didn't see shit. All I saw was one of those zombies going fucking flying against the wall.
I'm just putting
That fucking
torches everywhere.
knockback Tony so fucking OP.
Watch your hits against each other.
Who?
Watch your hits against each other. Try not to hit each other.
I tried. There's another key. I got another key.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Did you?
Brick.
Huh.
What is
Fuck. Fuck. Shit.
I just
There's more over
the
here.
The
Come
block
over
changed.
here. Come over. Ah, fuck. Come here. Ah, there's spawning so many.
Sorry, I hate you.
Ah, sorry. Sorry. Fuck, I need to eat. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Rex.
Can we turn friendly fire off? I don't like this.
I don't think that's a. Is it a thing you can do?
I don't know.
I think it is. You're right.
I think it's.
Friendly
I'm pretty sure it
fire's
should be a
off.
cheat by now.
Friendly fire's off. Friendly
Oh.
fire's off.
Thank
Wait,
God.
what? I
No
just
hog wild.
What do you do? What happened? What?
I put a key in one of these things, and it looks like there was an item in the thing.
I see it.
And
I
yeah.
saw it. There's not
Remember?
an iron.
Then
I
some
see
things
it.
started coming out.
There's stuff
What
in
is
it.
What
Wait,
is it?
yeah, I put a key. There was like some stuff in it, like circling around. I put a
see.
key in it, and stuff started coming out. Like
But it changes.
loose, like
It's changing.
bows and a music disc.
Like there's poison darts. There's arrows. It changes.
Yeah, that's what
in
we're
that-
looking for.
Well, it's right
Coming
here.
to you. Yeah, coming to you guys.
Oh, I
On the
got.
way.
I got emerald.
You remember where we're at, Rex?
I do. I think so.
We're at the end of the that
I need more torches.
hallway.
Yeah. I see your gamer tags. Coming to
Okay.
you.
Wait, I need more
Y'all see
torches.
me?
I'm out. Wait, I'm gonna spawn some chickens in
Yep.
here because I need to get rid of these eggs.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry, chicken!
I've got one in here. I'm gonna use the key on it. I used the Kage on it. I got a golden apple. I got honey bottles. I got a golden apple. Pretty cool.
So okay, how many keys do you need?
Just one key for one thing. Okay. Look out in these
Ooh,
dispensers.
lingering. Yeah, I'm stealing everything.
I think it's like a, what is it? Like a heavy core.
Oh fuck! I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
It's okay.
Oh wait.
Oh, yo, we got a thing. We can start a raid in the future if we wanted to. We got a bad omen bottle.
Ooh.
Also got. That's useless.
No
that's
chickens. Sad.
useless. That's useless.
You're stealing. You're
I'll
giving
keep
them to me.
Okay,
It's fine. It's fine. I take them. I put them back in the dispensers
that's fair.
for this little thing.
Also, you can keep doing it. Like it. I think.
What? Do what?
We keep like adding. Like you can keep like using the keys on
Until
them.
you run out of
I'm
keys?
And
I'm
so,
pretty sure that this place resets. Oh yeah, this is spawning more
What?
in here. Oh wait, no, this is another thing. What is this?
you watch
It's like
that.
another like prize block. Look at it.
I know.
Yeah, that's
I
what we were
just-
talking about.
Yeah.
Weird.
Oh, I just took my key. It's fucked up. Let's get down there.
It just
Oh,
took your key and didn't give you anything.
yeah.
No compensation. Boo. Fuck off. Die.
Oh, I almost.
Oh, I found a single diamond, a
Oh, fuck, there's
block
guys.
of iron, and a cake. Is anybody hungry?
Hold on.
I wouldn't
Yes, a
mind
little
some-
bit. I'm just killing people. Why are they
Okay,
not
let me know.
noticing me?
Let me know when everybody's like really hungry. I have a cake we can all eat.
How do I use a fucking crossbow? It's not working.
You have to charge it up first.
How? How do I charge it up?
I think you have to like hold the button or
I don't
press
have
the
torch.
button.
I don't have torches anymore. There's an iron axe. I'm stealing this iron axe. It's mine now. Put that in there. Put that in there. Does anyone need a bucket of water? Because I have 2.
I wouldn't mind one. If please.
Okay, here.
Ow, I'm being attacked.
Well, stop it.
Oh, bogged.
I'm coming. Where are you?
Okay, I'm good. It was a single.
Good, because I couldn't find you anyway.
Oh, I got a music dish. Dish.
A music dish? Good for you, though.
Honeycombs over here.
Where's that cake?
Ooh, signs. Oh,
Oh, I got creator. I got the new one.
bamboo.
Where's the cake?
Do you need it? Oh, here.
I'm just...
I'm placing it down. Wait, hold on. I'm placing it down.
Well, we don't need it. Okay, that works. Yippee!
You said you wanted a cake.
I mean, I didn't need
Are
it
you
now,
hungry, Al?
but... Bamboo hanging sign. Do we need that?
Are you hungry, Al?
Ow, come eat.
Yeah.
Come
Here.
eat.
Here's the cake.
Dinner
Last
time.
piece.
No phones
Oh,
at the
you're-
table.
Yeah.
Just jump on the cake and eat it.
What is this? There's a chicken! Chicken!
Alright.
That you have.
Oh, I found another door. There's a door over here.
You guys ignore my chicken. I gave it here.
Oh, it's
Door over here.
Nope, it's a closet.
Okay.
Chicken,
Okay,
there you go.
so-
Alex,
here.
there's chicken right there. Rex,
I got
I
a
don't need chicken.
I got one.
I'm kind of full on items currently.
Oh
do you
shit.
need honeycomb?
Zombies, watch out, watch
I'm
out.
out of torches. Does anyone have any extra torches?
Yeah, let me give you.
I don't
Actually,
have
you just attack right now. You just
I-
suck
yeah.
it up
I'll
again.
go in. I'll attack. If you could light the place up, Alan.
Yeah, I can attack too.
Okay, going in.
Got a
Oh
cake.
shit.
What the
Watch
fuck
out.
are those?
Kill that thing. Kill that thing. Kill
That fucking bitch, please, Laszlo.
the beast. Kill the beast. Kill the beast. Okay, I got
so
the freeze
scared.
rods. Yes.
I got them.
No,
I got them. Do you want them?
Thank you. Yes.
What do you do with them?
You can make the new hammer with it, the mace. Now all I need is the hammer head for it. Do you have like a block of anything like a
No.
I can't remember. Oh,
No, I don't have blocks of anything.
Whoa.
Ah! Fuck! He scared me. Why am I hitting him with a fucking bow like that? I'm stuck.
okay. I'm glad I
I'm
turned.
stuck!
the fire off.
Oh fuck, I fell. Help, I fell in the middle. I'm scared. Fuck, there's a lot of shit down here.
I'm down with you.
Okay, thank
I got
God.
you. I got you.
I'm scared.
There's another
What are
prize
those?
block. There's another prize block out
What
here.
are those?
They're breezes. They're new.
Okay, I need torches now.
They're basically like the overworld version of a blaze.
Oh, okay.
Alex, if you have a key, there's another prize block here.
Alright, I'm at one right now.
I'm stealing
okay.
everything from the
We're
dispensaries.
gambling right now, guys. We're gambling.
Yeah.
Yay!
I'm
Minecraft
good.
Mom
got
would
it.
not be
not
happy with
yippee,
us.
Not yippee. Not yippee.
I know, Mom would not be happy with us.
Gambling in Minecraft.
It's like,
Let's
oh,
go
there's come
gambling.
over here. There's another thing over here.
Whoa.
Come over here.
Coming to you.
It's right.
I
It's
got a
right here.
rude rod.
In here.
I don't have any keys.
I don't have any keys. I don't have any keys.
I got some keys.
Cool.
I got some keys. Ooh, diamonds.
Huh?
Ooh, ominous bottle. Ominous bottle.
Almonds bottle?
Yep. Those are for starting raids.
Right, like Pokemon? Oh no, what is that? What is that sound? I'm scared. What is it?
That's the.
Oh.
I think that's the him getting the items.
Ah! Damn.
This still isn't. I don't think this is how you get the thing. The
Can't-
big hammer thing.
I can't get up. There's not enough ladder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, there's
hold
one
on.
over here, Rex. Did you get this one already?
Not sure.
There's stuff in it. I don't know. I'm confused.
And then there's another one of these here. Like
Where
this
are
is
you?
something,
Where-
but
where-
you can't key it. So what is it?
How'd you get up there? Oh, okay, I see.
I like that we don't know what's going on. And we're trying
Yeah.
to put the pieces together.
Hello.
This chicken
guys.
keeps...
Chicken. I need torches.
I say one thing. If we can't figure it out now, which I say, if I need to, I can look it up online how to get that main mace. head.
Rex, come back. Come here. There's like summoning keys right here. There's summoning keys on this thing.
I
Okay.
should have
There's like two right now.
head.
Oh fuck! I can't. Hold on. It's like I don't know how to get up there. 'Cause
I
don't
got
have
2 bottles.
I'm stuck.
Sorry, Macy.
It's okay.
Okay.
I'm just stuck. It's up there.
I got Bad Omen 2 and Bad Omen no
I need.
No
Oh,
problem.
look, Rex, over here too.
Yeah.
Why are there so many keys? I'm confused.
They're for
Excuse
the
me.
gotcha aspect.
Yeah.
Gotta
Oh my god, I love
Gotta
Genshin.
get our speed high enough to get that mace.
Can
So
we?
you can
I'm trying to
gank.
get. There we go. I'm trying to steal everything from the dispenser so nothing hits us.
Okay.
Let's go gambling. Alright, where's the exit?
Ooh, splash potion of poison. Let's go. Will
Oh.
it hit us? I'm confused.
I found another one of those the big ones, the good ones over here, like we found at the beginning. Not sure what they're called.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it doesn't take the key. It's like the one that we found in the beginning.
Oh, right. Okay. I see.
There is a super key we need. I don't know how to get it.
Yes, I've seen it in creative. It's like 3 of these keys together. It's like.
Oh, do you like craft it?
Oh shit. Maybe. Let's see. No, I don't see anything in the crafting thing.
Is it big enough for? Do you need a crafting box?
Maybe. Do any of you have a crafting box now?
Nope. I don't even have planks.
Give me a second. Give me just a second.
Creative time.
It's time to do some googling.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. That's better, actually. Yeah.
If
I love
the ads.
Fuck ads. Fuck AI. Like, shut the fuck up.
That's not really AI, but okay.
No, I mean like the Google AI. It's annoying. Like, don't tell me.
That's fair. That's valid.
It's yeah. Thank you. Al, you have extra torches
Yep. Do that.
right here. Thankies. Yippee!
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put them right here. I also have potions of like I have lingering potion of weakness. I have 4 of those, and then I have splash potion of poison. So I got 3 of those. Does anyone want some?
I like that.
Huh?
Did Rex give you a shulker box?
Yes. Oh fuck! I forgot I had that.
Yeah. Use that as storage. Put a bunch of stuff in there.
So true. You're so right. I have so many things. Oh, I'm gonna use this water. No, I'm not. Not here.
Can I go gambling again? No, I can't gamble again.
How do I break this?
Use pickaxe.
Okay.
Diamond pickaxe.
I almost broke it like by my hand. That's gonna be bad.
It's the heavy core we're looking for.
Oh fuck! I need to do it
Didn't
again.
mean to spit rhymes.
The
heavy
what?
core.
Opening an ominous vault with an ominous trial key. However, there's only a 7.5 chance of getting a heavy core.
What?
Okay. Well, let's. That's pretty high. That's pretty high.
7 out of 100.
How do we?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna look up how to get an ominous vault.
That's like not too bad. That's
Okay.
a little higher than 120.
I know how to do. I know how to do it.
Okay, how?
It's
You
the
do it.
ominous. It's the ominous bottles. I remembered.
Let's go back up to him, Macy.
Coming.
Or do we want to do the one at the beginning?
Yes.
There's more there.
Okay, so get an ominous bottle by looting a vault in a trial chamber. Regular trial chambers have an 18. Okay.
Say?
I have my ominous bottle ready.
Fuck! I just fell. I'm so silly.
Rex, I have my ominous bottle ready.
What does that mean?
Okay, yeah, just everybody drink our ominous bottle.
I don't have any.
Yeah, not yet. Let's.
I don't have
Let's
one.
do it. We'll give one to you. Let's go to the starting room that had the thing, and then we'll hand out bottles. Where's the ladder?
Let's drink.
We need to go up.
What's in here?
There's a
Nothing's
ladder.
in here.
There's a ladder over here on me. Is this as far as we need to go up? We need to go further up.
Oh fuck! We're further up. Okay.
The highest, and then over here where I'm jumping.
New Minecraft seems very complicated. Yes, it is very complicated actually.
Navigation than I am, Alec.
What is it?
You're a lot better with navigation than I am, Alec. And it's also nice that you're like a combat expert. You're perfect.
All right,
for this.
Macy,
Yes.
have this bottle.
All right.
What do I do with it?
Drink.
We drink it. We'll drink it on 3. All right. Are we ready?
Are we like gonna die right now? Are we like?
Okay.
We should be fine.
Well, just
It'll just make the dungeon slightly harder, but it's also going to give us the rewards we want to get.
I'm scared.
All right, you ready? Let's do this thing.
Okay.
Let's break some dudes. All right,
Cheers,
3,
cheers.
2, 1.
All right.
I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared.
Is it this?
Why? Why did we do that? I'm so confused.
The trial own.
How do I let go of the crossbow? Like, you know, on the crossbow.
You just click it again.
Which one? Right or left?
Oh wait, you let go. Wait, what?
Oh, left. We're good. Okay.
We may have to leave the chamber and come back.
But we just drank it.
It lasts like basically forever. Oh no, it
Wait,
activated. It
something
activated.
happened over here. It's over here.
Where are you?
It's over
Oh,
here.
what? I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm
It's
scared.
good. It's okay. Okay.
Oh fuck! Why am I just hitting them with the fucking bow
Shit.
like that?
I'm at the spawner right now. I'm spawn killing them.
Spawn killing them for
I'm
real.
so glad I turned off friendly fire. Thank you, Mason.
Oh, thank you. That's so much more helpful.
Yeah.
No,
I'm
I'm
a
ready.
warrior.
You die.
You
I'm not even
many
fucking hitting
candles.
them. What?
A part of the challenge is being hit by the friendlies.
No, it's too much. What?
No.
What is that? What is
That's strength. It gives us more damage.
the orange swirlies?
Yeah.
What is? There's something above us, I think, shooting
Why are
at
they
us.
dropping? Yeah, why are they dropping?
I'm confused.
I'm not
Where are we
sure. I
going?
think it's like
Oh, they're below.
Oh no, it's right here. It's this thing. I think. Where are you guys?
we dropped. I dropped.
Okay, I'm coming.
Coming back up. There's a door down here.
There's a
door-
spider.
Coming down.
Yippee. I hear things.
I do like all the new task blocks.
I do like all the experience.
Me and Rex with our communication, we sound like we're in Rainbow Six Siege or like Call of Duty
Yeah,
or something.
you talk like you're just in the military anyway.
No. Yeah, I'm a
little
gamer.
bit. You are a
No.
gamer, yeah. Oh, we were here. I remember putting a torch there. What do we do now?
I have a potion
I don't
of generation.
I got candles.
I'm gonna try leaving really quickly, and then I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna re-enter the chamber.
Say. But how would that work? Why would that work?
I'm not sure. Well, I'm looking it up, and it says to do that. It says
Like
drink
all of
the
us
ominous
leave?
water and enter the chamber, and it will switch to an ominous chamber.
Wait, all of us leave or just you?
I don't know, but
Okay.
I'm checking to see if like okay maybe if this does it, who knows, you know.
I think we should all leave. I think it's like the same thing as a Genshin. It
Let's-
like
I'm
not
makes you
sure.
spawn.
Let's
Let
go
me know.
to one of the other thingies that we've already explored and see if it happens again. Like to the first one with the snow. That's all gone.
I don't
Yes.
even remember where the fuck we're going. I'm so lost.
You're
Yeah,
fine.
Alex has really good navigation skills.
Okay, if we get lost in a forest, you're the leader. Okay, we're good.
Just
I'm
use
here.
the sun. Just talk to the sun. The sun will help.
So true. I love the sun.
Oh shit. Yeah, I think it's happening again.
I fell. We're good.
Shit. Yep.
I fell
yep,
again.
Yep.
Ah! There's a man.
Happening.
There's a bunch of men. Help.
They're also tougher. They have armor now.
Yeah, there's a bunch of men down here. I'm scared.
Coming.
I gotta eat. Hold on. I got. Stop hitting me. I'm eating. There we go.
I just drop shotted him.
Love that. You guys die, please. That'd be so cool of you. There's a guy. There's a guy. Hold on. I got you. Yippee. XP. Oh, there's more guys. Fuck off.
Ooh, watch out for those wind things.
Can you stop spawning? Oh my god.
What are they called? I forgot.
I don't know. What are you talking about?
The wind things. What are they called? I cannot
Ah!
remember.
There's more! Are you done?
Holy
Stop
cow!
it.
There's so much loot over there.
Where are you?
Up here, jumping.
Jump.
Someone, if one of you guys want
Oh, I see.
to collect
Okay.
up loot.
I'm coming.
There's a bunch of arrows and things and
I love arrows. I'm coming. Hold on. I'm coming. Very
tons of
slowly.
it. And there's I think it gives you food sometimes. I don't see any food over here. I see bread or baked potatoes over here and a golden
Potato.
carrot.
Stuff. Ooh, I got. Oh, here's some steak, Alec.
I got some food.
Okay, but
Thank you.
I don't want the steak. I don't want the steak.
Okay, I'll take the steak.
There we go.
All right.
I have so many arrows. Rex, you need arrows?
I'm good on arrows.
Okay, I have like 3 things of arrows.
Let's go to this one across that we already explored, but was it down here? Oh, yep.
What the hell? Where'd I go? I'm lost.
You see our gamer tags, Macy?
I do, but I don't know how to get over there. Wait, no, yes I do. Yes I do.
Look for
Let me
ladder.
know if any of you get that heavy core, please.
Okay, we're good.
They have diamond swords.
Why? There's a zombie! Baby zombie! Wait, what's this?
Fuck that bitch.
Okay, mine.
As a wise man once said, fuck them
Okay.
kids.
So true. Fuck
Over
them kids.
here.
Come in.
Yeah.
Oh, I found the ominous trial key. I got 1. Got 3 actually.
You got ominous trial key?
Yeah, this is ominous. I got 3.
That's what we need. That's what we
Does
need.
it like have 3 things on them?
As like a
Yes.
face. Hold on, I'll
That's
show you in a
what we-
second. I'll show you in a second. Here,
Okay,
there.
If that's what, yeah, that's
Yes.
what we need. All right, let's go. Let's
it's
go.
what we need.
Yippee! They're still spawning. I hear them.
And we can do it 3 times. Let's go. Ow, 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 ow. Alright, let's go to the
Fuck.
one before.
I'm so silly. Ah! There's guys. There's fellas. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. There's so many guys. I'm gonna die.
Macy's fighting some guys down there.
Come to you, come to you. Dropping.
We're still going, so let's defeat it and see if we can get another ominous trial
For
chamber
sure.
key.
I need to make more room in my inventory if I'm being real.
Do it.
Okay.
I'll whip this
Say,
stuff.
I got you. Yippee! XP.
That.
Oh, there's potatoes.
Sorry, I
many
take.
tato. You're good. So many
Okay.
tato.
Let's go back up, boys. Fellas.
Yeah.
Fella
here, lad.
guys. Yee.
Alright, let's go back up to that one thing. That we... You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah,
The
that
first
thing.
one?
Yeah,
Oh, that
Yeah, it's that boy. Alright, are we ready?
I guess.
Yeah, get our inventories ready. Take
Oh
some
wait, hold
stuff
on.
out.
Yeah, let me do that. Hang on.
I got so many arrows now. I'm like hyped up, bro.
I didn't. Me too.
Nice. Yeah.
Say that.
Chillax accent with a couple of guys up to no good. Started making
Real.
trouble. One little fight. My mom got scared. She said, "Nah,
Just fuck you.
regenerate
Game it.
of strength." I'll eat that. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, that is. All right, it took it. It took it.
It's showtime.
There's
Okay.
a lot of things. I think it just gives you things.
That's the reward.
Oh.
Oh wow,
I
we
think
were ready for
it's
war.
different here.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got
we-
an enchanted apple and I got a potion of strength. Let's go back to the other one. I'll give
Where's-
one of you guys. Each of you get one.
Yippee!
Here you go. And then remember the other one was over here.
I think your
Let's
memory is just
go.
great.
Down here.
Are you
Macy,
sure? What?
I can set up today. Tonight. I can set up some Elytra courses, and tomorrow I can drill you with them if you'd like.
Yippee! Sure. I don't know if I'll be able to tomorrow. I can't speak. But yeah, sometime.
Yes.
Ooh.
I got a diamond axe, another diamond axe with sharpness 3.
Slay!
I also
Alright.
got arrows of slowness, and I got something else. I can't remember what else I got.
What is? How do I check?
Now we gotta find from AC.
Yes.
What? What? What are you doing?
We gotta find your gotcha machine.
Your
Oh.
gambling machine.
Okay.
The thing that to get you hooked on the gambling.
I'm already
This-
in
Also,
detention.
you know what I say? You know what I say?
What?
Whoever's key it is, if they get that heavy cord, they get the mace.
Okay. I don't know what that means, but okay.
It's the new weapon.
I
The
don't-
weapon that increases damage with height, with drop height.
I'm good. You guys can have it. One of you fight over it. I don't care. I
Okay.
don't really want it.
We don't
Is
have
this-
death metal.
That may be it. Yeah. Rex, do you have any blocks?
Blocks?
There's blocks all around us.
So true. Actually, I love Minecraft.
For real. Me when there's blocks all around me.
I mean, it's real. I mean, technically, that's also in real life. Because
Yeah.
atoms.
Yep.
Adam.
Mace.
Yeah, when there's
Oh
blocks
wait, I
all
think it's the regular one.
I get blocks.
Hmm?
I think this is a regular one right behind this.
Okay, what am I doing? Am I doing the key?
I
Yes.
think you use a normal key.
I don't have a normal key.
Or the 3-headed one? Do you have the 3-headed one?
3. Yeah, I think so.
Normal one.
Yeah, I have the ominous here.
It is another one.
It's not taking it. Yeah, I took it. I lied.
Okay, cool.
Yippee! What is this? Wind.
What'd you-
I got an ominous
yeah, that's-
bottle.
Nice.
Oh, is that one down there? Guys, look.
Oh, it's dark.
Or no, that's not one. That's one of the things that we've already completed. It's loot
Nice.
Confused. Where did you guys go?
on top of
Okay.
gold.
I think this is this is another prize chamber though, right here. Yeah.
Prize
Yeah, this is another
Just
prize chamber.
normal. Maybe? No,
Yeah.
no, this is the one for Macy, yeah.
I'm so confused.
Macy's got that.
I used
Jumping
the
right now.
ominous trial key.
Yep.
It's not. Hello.
not?
No,
It's not.
it's not. Yeah, it's not.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's giving me
took
shit
mine.
though.
It took mine though.
It didn't take mine, but it's giving me stuff.
Maybe it was one of the smaller ones. We've already gone there.
I have no idea. I
Uh,
Did we
hear
already go here?
something.
maybe not here.
Oh shit! Oh, there's one over here. Remember, there was a.
No,
Remember over here
I do not remember.
where I'm jumping.
Yeah.
So many guys. Stop it. Stop fighting. I'm just
Ooh,
Are you low?
maybe a little bit.
fuck. Oh my god, there's so much going on. I'm overwhelmed.
There are so many of you guys. I'm about to die.
Don't die. The fuck.
We're glad friendly fire is not.
God, me too, 'cause I don't know what the fuck
That would
I'm
be the
doing.
reason you guys are
Oh.
dying.
I just collected meat here, Alec or Rex. Someone take me.
I'm good. I don't need meat.
I don't either. I don't want it.
Whoa, who's talking there?
Fuck.
Silverfish.
You die.
I need help. Oh, God.
I'm right here. Where are you?
Yeah.
I'm behind you guys.
Okay, I'm coming.
Okay, thank you. Cause I was what, half a heart there.
Oh shit.
Alright, let's go.
Oh fuck! I just fell. Coming.
All
I'm
right.
coming.
Where's it at?
There's
No.
fuckers.
Why am I the only one who keeps dying?
You died? Just teleport to me.
Yeah.
You're the game guy person
Um.
who created it. Why do you have a sword? Stop it.
You know what? I think I might teleport to you.
Yeah, teleport. It'd be a lot easier. Steak. I did not eat any steak.
To be fair, if I could let you teleport, I would. I don't know how.
I don't know either. I think you need to like. I don't know. I have no
You
idea.
give permissions. You know how to give permissions.
Yeah, that's probably it.
I don't know if I'd be able to give it to like a friend though.
Oh. Press the menu button where you can see resume game settings, marketplace, save and quit.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks to the right where it says my world and our names. You see the star. Click the star and say permission level, and then you can change it.
I'm confused. What did I just
Okay.
do? I didn't do
Members.
anything. Confused.
Use teleport.
Yeah, your choice. Whatever you want the person to be able to use.
Whee!
You're both now allowed to use teleport now.
Nope.
Thank you for that.
No, I'm not. You lied to me. It says
be
incorrect
able-
permission levels.
I'm sorry.
It said incorrect permission levels. I tried to teleport to you. Just to test it. Yeah, so
You may have to make them.
it hates me.
A visitor member operator custom. I'll make it custom.
I think operator.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why is this open now?
Because gamer.
Hello, chicken.
Gamer
No.
seekers do.
Oh, I got a trim.
I'm good. Oh, it's got
Nice.
diamonds too.
Damn.
What did you use on that?
What?
What kind of key did you use on that?
I just used the normal trial key.
Oh, I have the ominous. I have 2 of the ominous ones. There's one.
Yeah, we need to find you an ominous one.
I have one. I just
Okay.
gave you one.
No, like an ominous one of these to go to it.
Oh, okay. Can you not pick that up?
Hold on. I need to make room.
Okay. Just put the bricks somewhere. There we go. In the dispenser.
I did put them somewhere. I put them in the garbage.
You gave them to me, actually. That was rude as hell. I'm gonna steal your shit now. What's up? What's right here? Oh, we're just here, weren't we? God, y'all are texting me. They're texting me too much right now.
Where's the?
I'm knocking. Hello. Nice. What is over here?
Over here somewhere.
I don't
Oh, it's up-
understand.
Wait, is it? Yes, Macy, come up here to me. I'm jumping.
Okay. Let me see how.
Oh, I got ominous trial keys again, by the way.
Get up there.
But Macy hasn't.
How get up there?
Um.
This is a maze.
Over
Right.
here.
I got it.
Right.
I got it.
Up to the left,
To
and then
the
right
left,
here, Macy.
To the left. To the left.
Use your ominous.
Ooh, oh, hello. What I get? Paper? Flow banner pattern. And
Yeah.
enchanted book. Okay,
What is
great.
on the enchanted book?
Windburst 1.
Ooh, that's for Mace. That's really good. That's a really good enchantment. We want that, bud boy.
Okay, I'll give it to you later then, whenever you have space.
I have room.
Okay, hold on.
You said right now. Please. You a normal one?
Books.
Oh,
Why
I
do I
found
have-
another.
What is a flow banner pattern? What is that?
It's for like making the banners.
Do we need it?
Is that an ominous?
Yeah, I just did it.
Say.
Okay, well now I just did.
Oh, fuck.
two. Oh, I got another.
We can all do it. I guess we can keep repeating them.
Okay, you don't.
No,
need
it
different
took mine.
Yeah, but like we can if there's one, we can all use our ominous
Back
key
to back.
instead of one person.
I also got another ominous bottle and an enchanted. I got a gapple.
A gapple?
Yep,
Alright.
god apple. I also got another wind burst, so I can make level 2 wind burst.
Say.
So we like to see.
Yeah.
Can I
All
escape?
right,
I can't get up there.
let's
get out.
let's do another ominous bottle. And
Okay,
then
do we all have one?
I do know.
Yes, I have one.
I
Okay,
don't.
I have. All right. Cheers, fellas.
Wait, are we doing it? Does Alec have one?
No, but I don't think we all need to. I think only one ominous bottle. Like you just go into one of these things.
Alec, do you want mine?
Sure, it doesn't matter.
Because I'm scared. I don't know. I just don't know what it does.
All right, I'm drinking it.
Cheers. It's showtime.
It's showtime.
And then we
Showtime.
walk into another thing. Maybe?
Yes.
Do we need wind charges? What is that?
They like launch you. You can use them kind of like an ender pearl, like, but throw them at your feet. Throw them at your feet.
I'm confused. Where are you guys?
I'm right above you.
Oh,
head out.
okay.
Ow.
Did you mean to do that?
No.
Slay.
Okay. We go find Alec.
How did you get over it? Whee! Yeah, I made it.
Is this
Nothing,
activated?
nothing over there.
We activated it. Yeah, yeah. What happens if we break it? We get nothing.
I wouldn't break it.
I'm gonna break it.
Don't
Just
break
kidding.
it.
Just kidding. No, I'm not.
Thank you.
Yippee! Meow. Group meowing starts in 10 minutes.
Bed's down here.
You guys did not
Yep.
hear me.
There's a thing
hello.
down here. I don't
Sleepover!
have
But how do we start the trial? Soggy Goober stupid. Okay.
Good night.
I mean,
I just put my spawn point there. Oh, we can
Oh.
go sleep.
Fuck,
I know.
now my spawn point's fucked. It's fine.
bedtime with the homies. We'll wake up in a dungeon. We'll die and we'll wake up in a dungeon.
This is sibling night, for real.
Except sibling night starts with us dying and waking up. All of us dying at the same time and waking up in a dungeon.
Well, duh.
Yeah.
If you have siblings, that's what it's for.
Yeah.
What we
What dying and waking up in a dungeon is for.
Exactly. What we doing, y'all?
Looking for other places.
I think we've been through everywhere in this little dungeon thing.
What do we have? Maybe.
I think we
maybe
have.
Yeah.
Is the Ender Dragon defeated on this one?
Yeah, that's how I've gotten the adventure. We can beat the Wither though.
Ooh, let's do that.
Right now?
Yeah.
Yes, we're good. Dude, we
Okay.
easily be able to smack it
I
up.
mean, I don't have the heads, but I can just use creative if we really want to.
Let's try it. Let's try it. But not
I
here
wanna-
or where?
Fight the Wardens too.
Actually, I feel like let's go to the main one where that fountain is, and then let's fight it. This will be a good spot to fight it, actually.
Okay. Easy, dude. Easy.
Alright. Ow, fuck. Alright, I'm actually I'm going to
Hang
dump this
on.
here.
I'm going
Is
to...
it cool if I have Nether Star dibs?
If you what?
Huh?
Is it cool if I have the Nether Star? The item we get from killing it?
Oh, sure. I don't care.
Oh,
It's your world.
Yeah, cool.
But do you want my breeze rod, Rex?
Huh?
I have 2 breeze rods.
Those are the handles for the maces.
Do you want it?
Sure. I mean, if you don't.
Wait, what about 2 shulker box? I'm
Because you're
confused.
creative mode.
Wait, do you have a gray one? Do you have a gray one?
No, they're just
No.
purple.
They're in creative mode. We're all in creative mode.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
okay,
what-
you're gonna want to destroy one of those. I need to find. Hold on. I need to find the item heads.
Will it have the same shit in it?
Uh-huh.
Okay, good.
Okay. Then. Okay, I got the wither
Let's
heads.
put this. There we go. Oh fuck! I'm not. Okay.
Safe survival.
There we
okay.
go.
Alright.
Okay, let me collect this real quick.
I would just like dump that off in the side. That other one.
I just got rid of it. It's fine.
Okay, cool.
AC, this is just going up. Well, actually, they'd probably still attack you up there.
Yeah, I mean either way, it's fine. I'll go like up here. I'll go up here. There we go. Yippee.
Alright, I'm ready.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Where is it? Oh, you're making. Okay, they're making that.
This classic, peaceful Minecraft music. Alright.
I don't have it on actually. I don't know why I don't have it on.
3, 2, 1.
Get away from me, get away from me, get away from me.
Oh, he doesn't take damage yet. Fuck.
Yeah, we gotta wait. It's gonna explode.
Where are you guys? Where are you guys?
We're up
Fuck,
high.
I'm scared.
We're up high. Yeah, get back.
That's gonna explode.
Has he exploded yet?
Yep.
Yeah, he's arisen.
Okay.
We're on
I'm coming.
him.
I'm coming. Where is he?
He's up in the sky. He's already at half.
Where? I literally don't fucking see him. Oh, I see him.
From the top rope. Second phase, he's gonna start healing. We gotta kill him.
I got it. I got it.
Kill him. Oh
Projectiles
no,
don't.
he's invincible.
What?
Yeah, don't attack him. He's invincible.
Oh, right now?
Yes.
He's why is he invincible? Stop it.
Yeah, we gotta hit his heads back into him. The heads that he shoots out.
Where
Projectiles
heads?
don't.
The heads that shoot out.
Where?
Those. See?
Oh, if he throws them at us?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yes, we got him.
Too easy, too easy.
Yeah, when we have 3 people
Alright.
with maxed out, fully enchanted diamond gear.
Now
Well,
we
okay.
need to fight a warden.
Now we need to find Hero Brian.
Warden. Now we need to fight a warden.
It killed me.
Hero Brian. You died.
Good thing I'm in a dungeon. Good thing we slept in a dungeon. Good thing I'm right here.
Yippee.
You have the
Find
star?
a warden right now.
How do you?
Wait, do you have the star though?
Yeah, it's right behind me too.
Okay, cool. Thank you. All right. Are we?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna spawn the warden really quickly.
Well, so I
Okay.
can do it.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh. What is the warden?
It's
taking
the
your bones.
hardest boss in Minecraft. It has I think 4 times as much health as the Ender Dragon.
Yikes.
We gotta lock in for this one.
Okay. I'll try.
Okay.
Alright,
Also, first of all, let's lay out some rules of how the warden behaves. It's based off of sound. So
Oh,
if
no.
you do not want to get hit, be still and let someone else hit it. So that'll draw its attention.
I'm gonna panic.
Okay.
listen. Now you look up the command to spawn a thing again.
I'll just get an egg really quickly. It's cool.
Okay.
Yippee! I love jumping up and down.
Alright, got me that warden egg. Alrighty.
Okay, ready. I'm over here.
3, 2, 1.
It's dark.
Okay, it's on me.
Why is he not doing damage? Well, he's not doing
It's on me.
anything. He's not doing
I gotta-
anything.
You gotta cover me. It's so dark. It's so dark.
Yeah, why is he not doing?
It's on me. It's only on me.
Where's his
I'm
HP?
hitting them.
I'm literally following him.
Really good.
He's fast.
He's
fast. Oh fuck, he's on me now. It's fine. We're good.
Coming.
Why is
I'm in.
he not dying?
Yeah, it's
Hello?
We got 400
very-
parts. He's dead.
Oh,
He's dead.
yay!
He's dead. He's dead.
You killed it?
Okay.
Why is it so dark?
On two.
2?
2? Warden?
Wait. I got the command. Where is it at? Summon.
I'm so confused.
Okay. Hold on. I mean,
What's it
I'll
called
let
again?
you be the, you know what, Alec? I'll let you be the one to hit them, because that was just a nightmare for me. They were just chasing me.
I'm gonna send this video to mom and be like, anytime you miss like any of us, you watch this. Although Lauren's not in it, but it's fine.
Summon
Wow, you guys hate
word.
me.
How do you summon 2?
Put the number 2 in front of the warden, I guess. Or like do the command twice. Ah!
It's on me.
He is inside you.
Sus.
It's dork.
Alright.
You hit him. Oh, it's 2! Fuck, it's 2. I may die. I may die.
I'm gonna die.
Yeah, me too. My hearts are like reviving really slowly. You
Alright,
died. Oh fuck, now he's on me. Now he's on me.
Oh my god, holy shit. Holy shit.
I died. Respawn.
Oh my god, holy
I'm good.
I'm
I'm good.
Coming back, coming
You know
back,
what?
coming back.
Let me try to teleport. Oh yeah, I teleported. Yay.
I'm dead, I'm dead. I'm not dead, I'm not dead. Yeah, I'm dead.
Where are they? There they are. Be on fire. Be on fire. The fuck? They're both after me.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
One's dead, one's dead.
There's so
Kill
fucking
one.
much going on right
Kill
now.
one.
Kill the other one, kill the other one, kill the other one. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna
Where
die.
is he? Where is he?
I died.
Oh god, oh god. Okay.
I think I'm the only one here right now, you guys.
Stay alive for a little while longer, stay alive for a little while longer.
I'm trying to run away from him. Wait, I just don't move. Don't move.
Okay,
Right? There we go. See, I remember things. What did I get? I got a block from
Oh,
it.
thank god.
I have a skulk catalyst. Did you summon another fucking one? Girl. Warden challenge. How many times can we die? I'm gonna die again.
But guess what?
I'm gonna die. There's so much going on right now. I'm so overwhelmed.
I died.
Oh, you're right here. Fuck. Hold on. What's?
Teleport to Alec.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Oh no. Don't
Okay,
teleport to me.
Oh,
I'm alive, I'm alive.
Why can't I- I'm trying. Why can't I teleport to you?
I
It's, no
died.
targets
Okay, I think we're all
matched.
dead. Gotta go back manually. Gotta walk back.
Fuck this game. Where are we going?
Okay. Over.
He is a.
I said we sneak. We sneak. We be sneaky. Oh god. I think it knows we're here.
It's dark. It's dark. It's dark. I'm scared.
It's okay. Actually, if we're up here, it can get us.
Why is this so fucking loud?
I see them. I see them. They're located beneath me.
Oh god, and now I'm really fucking slow.
It got with me. I'm dead. I'm gone. Yeah.
Where is he? I'm trying to be slow right now. What the fuck is that? What is that? Did you fucking spawn a fucking wisp or some shit?
Did you spawn a gas?
Or gas, whatever the fuck it is? Not a wisp. Oh my god, oh my god, he's dying anyway.
Yeah. He's.
Oh my god, this is chaos.
Okay, both of them are dead. Kill this last one.
You guys are so fucking chaotic. I'm so overwhelmed. Where's the
I'm
other
just trying to
guy?
kill. Okay, one you got. All the ones you got.
Alec,
No.
you're spawning in the wrong place.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, there's bees coming out. I'm scared. There's a bee?
There's a bee.
There's multiple actually. There's so many bees. Hello, bees.
Why are there so many?
Girl! Kill your spawner.
more.
Kill your spawner. Kill your spawner right now. Do it.
No.
Let the bees kill him or something. I don't know. Oh! He said, fuck you. What? The
It's
fuck was
because
that?
I'm spawning bees.
No, the bees! The bees are killing me! Fuck!
Yeah.
I hit the bees on accident. I'm sorry, bees. I'm sorry. Ah! Why stop spawning bees?
God, the one's on me. One on me.
They're all attacking me. Okay, good. We're good. Okay, I'm coming. Oh, fuck. I'm the only one here. Fuck.
I'm coming.
Okay, there we go. Okay, I was standing still.
One on me. One on me.
So fucking what's going on right now. I'm so overwhelmed. I need to eat something. Fuck, I need to eat something. But I can't get away from it fast enough. I died.
I'll see if I can kill him.
No targets
I can't-
match. What the fuck?
We
Why did
gotta
you say
walk
that?
back.
Okay, there we go. Oh my god. What is that sound? That sounds ugly.
That sounds ugly.
Yes, I said what I said.
Okay.
Okay.
Guys.
What? Where are you?
It's on me.
Where are you?
It's on me.
I don't see. Okay, I see.
Okay, I need to get my rockets. I just need to get my rockets. I'm out.
I'm killing him. Skill issue.
Fuck.
Why did you kill yourself?
I was trying to
I
get
killed
away.
him. He's dead.
Oh god. Why is there a breeze?
What is that?
Oh god. The dungeon reset. The dungeon reset.
What does that
Oh
mean?
my god.
What does that
The
mean?
normal mobs are spawning again. The mobs
There's
that
so much
normally
going on.
spawn in
I'm
dungeons
so. Oh my god. I'm so.
Why is there another Alec? Why?
Alex, stop it!
And
I'm just gonna fucking stay. I'm just gonna stand here and watch.
too much.
There's so much going on. I'm overstimulated, overwhelmed, all the above. Stop it!
I'm dying. I'm dying.
Well, yeah, that's your own fucking fault, dude.
Uh-oh.
Luckily, the warden is killing everything that you're spawning, Alec. Along with us, though, of course.
I did it
I'm
too
dying.
slow. Fuck! Oh my god, die. It's 7 o'clock. Oh my god. Can you die, please? Thank you. Oh my god, there's another fucking. Oh my god, Alec. I'm gonna cook you in the oven.
I didn't do nothing.
Shut the fuck up. You literally spawned like 50
What do you
different
mean?
things.
It doesn't.
I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear that. Die. The fuck? Oh my god. Okay. No, Alec. I'll kill. Okay. Oh no.
Okay.
I can't do this. I can't. I'm fucking. I'm gonna tap out. I'm gonna tap out. I'm scared.
You're right. Kill.
You're not, no, Alec. You're
Oh,
not
wait, you're right. You're right.
Where the fuck is? Where
This
are
is
they?
my fucking world that you spawn these 3 withers in. You're not gonna.
No.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna tap out too after spawning these 3 withers in my world.
No, I'm taking one out right now. I'm taking
Where
one
is?
out
Where
right
are they? I'm coming. I'm
coming to
coming. I'm
you.
trying to come. I'm trying to get there. Trying to get there. Can you fuck off, zombies? Let's kill these withers. Then I'm tapping out. Okay? We've been playing for
Fair.
like an hour and a half
now.
anyway. Where the fuck are they?
I forgot that.
It
I
sucks
forgot that this is an actual world. I'm
the
sorry.
red
I can't see. I can't see shit. Ah!
I forgot that this is an actual world.
I cannot see you guys. I'm blind.
I
Everything's
will
dark.
just.
Where's the wither? Where are the withers? I don't. Oh fuck! There.
One above. It's not like.
Come back.
It's like
Come ah fuck! What the hell? Scared the hell out of me.
Ladder.
Also, I realized there's a wither for each of us.
I don't know where the fuck any of them are. I see one
One's
over
here,
here. Ah! Stop hitting me! Die. The fuck. Okay, let's just team up on one right now.
Yes.
This
We'll
one's
all
invisible,
take
isn't it?
Fuck.
Don't die. The fuck.
Okay,
Oh fuck! 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 I'm trying. Ah! Fuck. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good.
Where's the other one?
There's one up there. I don't know what the other one, third one is. There's so much. I'm over.
I'm gonna have 4 beacons.
Oh my god, you guys.
What are they?
And yeah, I'm
There are.
Yes, one's up here with me, one's up here with me. And yes, I am picking nether stars.
I have half of a heart right now, you guys. I have a heart. Oh my god. Let me just. I died. I was obliterated by. What the fuck?
Yes,
Get his ass, get his ass. He's in the corner, get his ass. Get his ass, bully him.
Look at those.
Where? It's dark. Why is it dark? There we
I
go.
think, is there still a wither in here? There's still a
I can't
wither.
fucking see shit.
Or there's still a warden in here.
Chicken.
Reed.
Yeah.
Die. Oh, he's invincible, isn't he? No, he's dead. He died.
Oh, get away.
Damn. Why does he take forever to explode?
So we can get away.
He took
But you can
forever
also
to explode. Where's the other one?
I'm beating up the warden.
Why did you have the fucking ward in here?
Action. Action.
The warden.
The fuck?
He's dead.
I'm so confused.
consequences are led by actions.
I mean, yeah.
The consequences of your action are giving me privileges.
Have given you what?
Giving me privileges.
Shut the fuck up. I mean, yeah. But shut up.
Yeah,
Privileges in Minecraft.
To be fair, I'll have 4 fucking beacons after this. I just need to wait for all the iron.
How do I get
This'll
up
be
there? How the fuck do I get up? Hold on. This radiator is on. It's fucking hot as hell right now. Whee!
How does hell?
Alright, the final wither is about to die.
Okay, then I'm tapping out. Okay, y'all.
Alright, thanks for playing.
Oh,
It's been fun.
go girl.
I hear zombies.
Alright.
I was
Thanks for
far away.
playing, y'all.
Wait, Rex, do you want my skulk catalysts?
I already have some. They're not super, like, exclusive or
How do I
anything.
get out of here? I need to get. I want to get back. I want to get back to my house.
Okay. Hold on. Let me and Alec get out.
Okay, then I
and
teleport or something.
Yes.
Can you guys fuck off? Leave me alone.
We're working
You
on
know-
a thing. I'm
Not
sorry.
you, not you. The skeleton guys.
I'm messing
You
with
know, the trial chambers wasn't hard enough.
Fuck.
We were just too good. We
Alec,
were
do
too
not.
good. No,
We
no,
had
I'm
John.
not doing anything else.
Okay.
I'm just giving
To
a
be fair, we
review.
had endgame gear. This is like
Where the
the
fuck-
only way this could get better is with netherite. Also, you can teleport to Alec.
I teleport.
I'm just giving a review of what we challenged and faced, what we persevered.
We challenge a lot of faces.
We persevered 4 withers.
You didn't hear what I said, but okay, you hate me.
I don't know how
And I
many
will be having 4 beacons all across the sectors. I'll be having a beacon for a sector.
all across the lands.
All across the land.
I feel like Lauren would get really, really like even more overstimulated than I did.
That's fair.
Okay, wait, Rex, come back. Come get these catalyst things.
Okay.
Wait,
I
do you want
don't
gas
need them, though.
tiers?
Sure.
I also gave you chicken.
Thank you.
Oh wait, I took
Okay.
it. Fuck, hold on, I took it.
Hopefully, I can get a stable food store set up by the next time we all play.
Yippee!
Okay, thank you.
Correct.
Huh?
Dude, correct. I'm so glad
What
that
the
this
fuck? Why am I dying?
has,
Why am I poisoned? Oh,
up thing off because I hadn't realized that when I was spawning the withers.
What
Mob
is it?
briefing.
Yeah, mob grief. I'm glad that's off.
oh, thank God.
You
love
know,
that.
you know what's so funny? If it wasn't, and you just forget, and you're just like, oh my god, what have I done?
That's why I started unlocking. I was like, all right, I need to stop spawning these things. And I'm gonna
Yeah, it's like that. Have you seen that meme from, I think it's like the anime Parasite, where it's that guy, he's like gaming, and then he like locks in.
Well, initially I was like, I need to kill everything.
Have you guys-
kill all things. I was like, wait, I can't do that.
Have you guys
Sorry,
seen
what
those pictures of like the streamers that like are locked in, but they're like trying to create something that doesn't? It's like not able to be created. You know. I have
I
to send it. I
guess.
have to send. What the? Okay, I have to send it to you. There's an
That
Enderman.
was
I
a-
hear him. Can you leave me alone, please?
Hmm.
Okay, I have to go.
Okay,
Alright.
thanks for playing.
Bye.
Bye bye.